in the same way as you guys video us, the public. Right, go on then.
Okay, so I'm quoting to you from the Civil Aviation Authority website. It says here, do not fly closer to people than 50 metres. Well, you were certainly within 50 metres of me when I was stood in the middle of the DVSA check site.
Right.
Okay, so I suspect you of then breaching that regulation, so I'm asking for your details.
Right, so which class of drone does that refer to?
Bear with me. If you're flying a drone or model aircraft that's below 250 grams, you can fly close to people than 50 metres and you can fly over them. What weight is your drone?
Am I required to answer that question? I'm not required to assist you in your investigation. You've now just looked on the CAA website.
Yes.
And found that drones that are below 250 grams,
okay,
you're allowed to fly closer to people than 50 metres and over their heads. So therefore you don't suspect me of committing an offence anymore, do you?
Well, I'm not trying to trick you. You've come to a traffic officer's course. There's a number of officers in there doing some traffic work.
Right.
You're flying a drone over our heads. It's distracting us from our work and it's potentially a safety issue. So I've come out to discuss that with you. Right. And the first thing you want to do is to film me and refuse to give me any details.
The first thing you want to do is accuse me of committing an offence and start making up laws and saying that I have to give you my details when you know I don't.
I asked you your name. You said no.
Yep.
You then asked me quite understandably, do I have to? I've said, I suspect you may have committed an offence. You said, what offence? So I'm now looking at, if you want specific act and section, then I'll do what I can to try and find that for you.
Well, do you want me to help you out with that? I'm not committing an offence.
Okay, because what's your understanding of...
Because you've just read the rules out and I'm within those rules.
The weight of your drone.
Well, I'm telling you that it is within the rules. You saw how small it was.
This is where it starts. No pleasantries, no warm-up. The officer steps in, already confident, already asserting control, quoting rules, framing suspicion, and setting the tone as if the law is already on his side. But watch closely. The drone pilot doesn't panic. He doesn't comply. He does something far more dangerous to authority. He asks questions. As the officer cites distance rules and filming concerns, the pilot calmly announces he's recording for evidence, mirroring the police's own tactics. That single move shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, this isn't just a conversation, it's an accountability moment. The tension builds as the pilot repeatedly asks the one question the officer can't immediately answer: what offence have I committed? And in that moment, the power balance begins to wobble. This isn't confrontation by aggression, it's confrontation by knowledge, and it's only just begun.
So unless you reasonably suspect that it's heavier than that...
Okay, keep at least 150 metres away from residential, commercial and industrial
What class of drone's that?
Well,
I'm telling you, it's ones that are above 250 grams. The one I've got, you're allowed to fly wherever you like.
Let me rephrase it, because you sound like you know some of it.
I do.
What's the understanding of the regulations for flying your drone? What do you believe it is?
Well, I'm allowed to fly my drone over there, unless you've got specific agreements with the Civil Aviation Authority to say that I'm not allowed to fly my drone over there.
I'll tell you what I'll do, because we have a team of drone operators within the police.
Yep.
I will try and get hold of one of them. I'll say I've got a chap here who's not being very forthcoming with anything at all.
I am. I've explained all the rules to you.
You won't even tell me who you are.
Well, why should I tell you who I am? So I know I'm not committing an offence.
You haven't given me any rules. You've just said I'm allowed to fly my drone.
Yeah.
You haven't quoted any rules.
I have. I've explained to you, when you've read up those rules, I've explained to you that I know I am allowed to fly there because there's no legislation that says that I'm not allowed to fly there.
Okay. I'm happy to admit to you, sir, my specialism is traffic, so I'm operating outside of my area of expertise.
Right.
But
I'm helping you out here, aren't I, by telling you what the rules are.
Well, we'll get our colleagues who know the rules.
Forgive me for saying this, but I can't let people go and just disappear off and not give any details. If I suspect an offence has taken place and you're just refusing me details and you're telling me that you haven't broken the law, because it may be that you have.
Maybe I have.
It may be that you have.
Yeah,
I suspect you may have committed an offence.
Well, I haven't.
Forgive me for not knowing the action section.
Okay, well, obviously, if you arrested me for failing to give you my details when I know I haven't committed an offence.
I'm going to arrest you.
Right.
You've brought that into the conversation. I haven't mentioned that. Shut on. But likewise, I might be able to assist you in stopping you being stopped by the police unnecessarily. So, I don't know why we need to.
Well, it's quite an interesting. Well, it's quite an interesting site, and I want to film it. I know that I'm within the law to do that.
Here's the turning point, and it's subtle but critical. The pilot introduces the detail that changes everything: the 250-gram rule. a legal exception most people, including many officers, don't fully understand. Watch the officer's tone shift. The certainty fades, the answers slow down. The confident enforcement stance is replaced by hesitation. What was once a clear-cut offence is now tangled in technicalities. This is where the encounter stops being about suspicion and starts becoming about who actually understands the law. The pilot isn't raising his voice. He isn't escalating. He's simply laying out facts, and facts don't bend to authority. You can feel the tension tightening here, because once an officer realizes the law might not support their position, every next step matters.
And I'm quite entitled to do it. You've come out here threatening me that if I don't give you my details, I could be arrested.
I never said that.
Well, that is the case, though, isn't it? You say you suspected me of...
I've never threatened... the first person to mention arrest was you.
No, you said that you suspect I might have committed an offence, so therefore I have to give you my details. Now, if you suspect I've committed an offence and I won't give you my details, what's your next course of action?
Well, I'm going to get some advice. I've then said, I'll be honest with you, sir. You're speaking to a traffic officer about something to do with drones. It's outside my area of expertise.
Okay.
And I've asked for you just to be patient with me while I get some specialist advice from officers within the police who know something about drones.
Okay, well, fair enough. I think you've been reasonably humble about it.
Maybe. I'm always honest with people. I don't know every law. I certainly can't. Even traffic stuff, I wouldn't know acts and sections. I'd have to go into my books. So I am well outside my area of expertise. My only concern is a little bit that I've encountered in the news or just reading magazines about drones. I do have concerns about you flying it within probably 20 metres of my head and my colleague's head when we are trying to deal with...
Look, I'll help you out, right? I'll help you out. So I'll get my drone out.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got no means of weighing it, so
no, it's got a grammage on it. Look, there you go.
I'm not going to be weighing.
Can you see it?
Okay, 249 grams.
Right.
Okay.
So that's evidence. I've shown you now that it's within the rules. I can fly it where I like.
249G written on the side.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to get a set of scales out and weigh your drone.
Okay, it's all weighing in my favour now, though, isn't it? You've looked on the CAA website. I've explained the rules to you. I've shown you that it's a 249 gram drone. So now you know I'm not doing anything wrong, perfectly within the rules, so I can take off again and carry on with what I was doing, can't I?
Not until we get that advice from officers that know more about the legislation.
Well, the issue is, sir, the mechanics and my colleagues in there who are working around heavy bits of machinery are concerned.
This is the moment many Cop Watch viewers wait for the crack in the armour. The officer begins to back away from legal certainty and leans into something safer. Concern, safety, distraction, risk. But then comes the line that changes the entire encounter. The officer effectively admits this situation is outside his expertise. That admission is powerful, because once expertise disappears, authority weakens. And then, the evidence. The pilot physically shows the drone's weight, 249 grams. No interpretation, no debate. Just proof. At this point, the legal argument is over. The pilot has done what few people manage to do in real time, calmly dismantle suspicion using the law itself.
Because right above our heads we've got a bit of buzzing machinery, we don't know who's doing it, we don't know anything about it.
You've got like massive 100-ton aircraft flying over your heads, you know, that surely that'd be more of a worry than a little 250 gram thing that's buzzing over your head.
I can only pass on what I feel. It's distracting me from my work, it's distracting colleagues. They're looking up at what might be buzzing, what's buzzing just above their heads, whilst they're trying to work around 13-ton cranes which may suddenly move or have a defect. So I'm not trying to be awkward, I just want my colleagues to be safe, I want me to be safe, and I want to make sure that if it is fine, then I may have learned something today. And I'm more than happy to admit that I'm not here to be tricked. Everything's being filmed.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I don't want to look a wally on YouTube, whatever I may end up on, so I'm more than happy to admit I may not know that much about drones.
That's fair enough, thank you very much.
I am a traffic officer.
Yeah, but I just think it's important that if we're allowed to do something, the public, we should be able to do it, and we shouldn't be able to have like stormtroopers coming out telling us that we're not allowed to do it.
Okay,
when
do you think I'm a stormtrooper?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, you guys, the way you're dressed, you know, with all your stab vests, and you're kind of like, your badges. Sorry.
I have to identify myself as a police officer, otherwise...
Yeah, but what's this? That's not part of the uniform, is it?
It's to explain which team I work on. I'm part of the no excuse team. It's a traffic department within Exeter Road Policing.
Okay.
It's, if you want to check Twitter or
Yeah.
Facebook, it is a.
Is that provided by the force, that badge, or is that something you've had to source yourself?
That's something I've sourced myself. I'll be honest with you.
So, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that the uniform policy says that you're not allowed to decorate your uniform with badges that aren't issued by the police.
We are going well away from the reasons why I came out here to have a chat with you in the first place.
Okay.
You seem to have many questions about the police. I came out here to try and discuss with you about the drone.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to admit that I need some specialist advice about the drone.
Yeah. Okay.
Notice how different this feels now. The officer is no longer enforcing, he's explaining. The conversation shifts away from accusations and toward justification, heavy machinery, worker safety, distraction. This is a classic transition. When legal grounds disappear, context and concern replace control. The tension hasn't vanished, but it's changed form. This is no longer about whether the pilot can fly, it's about whether he should, and that distinction matters. What we're seeing here is de-escalation in real time, not because the pilot complied, but because the facts forced a reset.
I've already taken out.
Well, I think you've been quite reasonable about it, to be fair.
Okay, I know.
But you know, as soon as
if
you
I was
work,
stopped by the police and I wasn't a policeman,
yeah.
I also may have some questions. So I understand the position you're in. If you don't deal with the police very often, you may well have some questions.
I just think it's important that we should be able to live our lives and only be policed by laws that actually exist, not just because of an opinion that individuals hold.
And I am very aware, having done this job for 15 years, that if there's no power to do something,
Yeah.
quite frankly, I wouldn't want to waste my time doing it, and also it would be unlawful for me to start trying to enforce things that don't exist.
Okay.
I'd say for me it was a simple safety issue. I came out here, I saw you controlling a drone.
I was hovering above the building, to be fair, wasn't I? I wasn't actually.
I don't know if you can see, but between where your drone was
Yeah.
and the path you've had to take to get to and from that, you're going over an area where vehicle examiners are doing their work. Some of them are flying on their backs underneath heavy machinery.
Yeah.
If you were trying to do a job that required a bit of delicate concentration, perhaps you might find that distracting. I don't know
Distracting,
what
but
you do for a living, but it's a safety issue for me.
yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah.
And I say,
Okay.
in terms of the technicalities, I'll admit I don't know the technicalities about drones. I think my colleagues there, there's a drone team as part of the police, and I'm more than happy to take some advice on this.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. I think you've been reasonable about it. Hopefully you think I've been reasonable about it too. I mean, obviously I haven't provided my details because I know I haven't committed an offence.
And I'm not entirely sure of my powers on drones, so I'm not going to push that point. It helps to have a conversation if I know who I'm talking to, and again, I'm really hot on the safety side of things. I know some police sometimes like.
And here it is, the resolution. After consultation and clarification, the final conclusion is delivered quietly but clearly. No offence has been committed. There's no dramatic apology, no announcement, just acceptance. The conversation becomes calm, even cordial. The officer explains procedures, the pilot listens, the encounter ends not with confrontation but with understanding, and that's precisely what makes it powerful. Because this isn't about winning an argument. It's about demonstrating that lawful behaviour doesn't require permission, only knowledge. And in this encounter, knowledge did exactly what it's supposed to do. It held authority accountable.